Good evening, night owls. You're tuned in to the midnight broadcast. And if you're awake right now, you're either a night shift worker, an insomniac, or someone who just enjoys a little late night company. Whatever the case, welcome. We've got open lines, no scripts, and all the time in the world. But something feels real different tonight. Can't put my finger on it. The air feels heavier. Or maybe it's just me. You ever get that feeling like you've walked into a room that isn't empty, but no one else is supposed to be there? Like something just shifted, and you're the only one who noticed? Strange thing is, there's nothing on the wires, no breaking news, no emergency bulletins, just silence. Too much silence. That's the part that's throwing me off. It's never this quiet. There's always a crisis, a scandal, a politician saying something ridiculous. But tonight, nothing. Maybe it's just a slow news night. Maybe I'm overthinking. So, let's hear from you. Open lines. Tell me what's on your mind. Hold on. What was that? Did anyone else hear? All right, something strange is happening. My phone just lit up with messages from listeners across the country. Power outages, cell service dropping, internet cutting out, not just for one provider, but all of them. No storms, no warnings, no explanations. And here's the thing, blackouts happen. We've seen grid failures before, but not like this. Not nationwide, not all at once. Some of you are saying it started an hour ago, some just now, but it's spreading. Fast? I just checked the emergency alert system. You know, the one they use for national disasters. Amber alerts, missile warnings. Guess what? Nothing. Not a single update. If this were just a technical failure, there would be some kind of response, right? A statement? A press release? Something? One of you just sent me a message. Your power is out, but your radio still works. You tried turning on the TV, but every channel is just static. No local news, no cable networks, just dead air. I need to know if anyone out there has answers. If you're listening and can still call in, tell me what you're seeing. Wait, hold on. Someone just sent a report that there are military vehicles moving down their street. I'm getting multiple reports now. Military convoys, no lights, no sirens, just rolling through the streets, slow and deliberate, no announcements, no warnings, no one stopping them. And here's the part that doesn't make sense. Some of you have been trying to call your local police stations. No answer, not even a voicemail. Government offices, same thing. City halls, silent. It's like they all disappeared at the same time. A listener from outside Chicago just sent a message. He was driving home when he saw it. An entire highway blocked off. No signs, no police, just men in dark uniforms standing there, motionless, refusing to let anyone through. No explanation, just a silent order to turn back. I've lived through power outages, natural disasters, civil unrest, but never this. There's always someone in charge, someone to step forward and give answers. Not tonight. Tonight, it's just silence. And silence, my friends, is a decision. Something's happening, something big. And whatever it is, they don't want us to know. Something just happened. Something I didn't do. My signal, our signal, just got overridden. If you heard it, then you know. If you didn't, listen carefully. Citizens, remain indoors. Await further instruction. A new order has been established. Compliance is mandatory. That's it. No introduction. No explanation. Just an order. Calm, robotic, like it was never meant to be questioned. And it's not just here. I've had messages coming in from different states, different time zones. This hijacked every major broadcast at the same time. Every station, every channel. There was no official announcement before it. No president, no governor, no spokesperson. Just a voice. No one is claiming responsibility, and no one is explaining what's happening. Not a single report from any government office. Not a single press release, just silence. I checked the emergency broadcast system. No messages. It's active, but empty. That's not how it works. If this were a natural disaster, a cyber attack, even a war, there would be something, some kind of official response. But there's nothing. And here's what's bothering me most. If this is about keeping people calm, why does it feel more like a warning? If anyone out there can hear me, if you've seen something, if you know something, call in now. I have a caller on the line. Go ahead. You're live. I don't know what's happening, but something's wrong. The streetlights outside my house, they're flickering. Not randomly, not like a power surge. It's like they're pulsing in a pattern. And my neighbor, he went outside 20 minutes ago. He hasn't come back. Next caller. Well, we can't get out. I mean it. Our front door won't open. Not locked. Just stuck. Like it was sealed shut while we were sleeping. I looked outside. Every house on my block, same thing. And no one's answering their phones. Next. I tried driving out of town. Didn't make it 2 miles before I saw them. Black vans. No markings. Just sitting there. Like they were waiting for something. I pulled over to check, and one of the doors opened just a crack. I swear to God, I saw someone inside, just sitting there, staring. I got out of there as fast as I could. I'm getting more reports like these. Streets emptied overnight. Locked doors, unmarked vehicles, people stepping outside and never coming back. None of this is a coincidence. Whatever's happening, it's already started. I don't like where this is going. The broadcast hijack, the blackouts, the missing people. It's all connected, but we're missing something. The reason, the motive, the end game. If you're listening to this, I need you to remember what's happening. Write it down, record it. If this is something they want us to forget, don't let them. I've done this show for years. I've covered breaking news, disasters, conspiracies, cover-ups, but I have never felt this kind of silence before. This isn't just an information blackout. This is an erasure, a reset. If you can still hear me, if you're still out there, don't stop listening. Don't stop asking questions. And whatever you do, don't forget. Something has changed. The static takes over. For hours, we've been waiting for an answer. Any answer. The world goes dark. The streets empty, and there's nothing. No leaders, no warnings, just silence. Until now. Citizens, remain indoors. Await further instruction. A new order has been established. Compliance is mandatory. That's it. No president, no military official, no pre-recorded emergency response. Just a voice. Cold, mechanical, absolute. This is a global directive. All citizens must remain where they are. Unauthorized movement is prohibited. This isn't a press conference. This isn't reassurance. This is a command, a statement with no room for debate. And it's not just here. Listeners are reporting the same message, broadcast everywhere, all at once, every channel, every frequency. No name, no organization, just words. And yet, no one is questioning it. No news anchors breaking it down. No politicians stepping up to clarify. Just silence. And that voice repeating over and over. Resistance will not be tolerated. Whoever they are, they expected this. They planned for this. And now they're executing it. The rules are in place. No time to adjust, no warning. Effective immediately. All major cities are under lockdown. Curfews are enforced. Public gatherings are banned. Travel is suspended. Flights grounded. Trains halted. Highways closed. No exceptions. This isn't a gradual shift. This isn't a response to panic. This is control. Instant and absolute. And people are falling in line without question. A listener just sent in a message. Armed patrols at apartment buildings, stationed at every entrance. No interaction, no explanations, just standing there, waiting. Another caller. High school students pulled from their dorms, loaded onto buses, no notice, no return time, just taken. Mandatory evacuations. No locations disclosed. No information on where they're going. And anyone who asks too many questions is met with the same answer: comply or disappear. I just got another call. A man tried to leave his home, asked an officer what was happening. The officer didn't say a word, didn't even look at him, just pointed him back inside. No discussion, no alternative. I've covered crises before: protests, martial law, military coups. They all have one thing in common: conflict, resistance, but not this time. This time, there's nothing. People aren't fighting back. They're just obeying. Maybe it's fear, maybe it's conditioning, or maybe, just maybe, something much worse is happening here. The lockdowns are terrifying. The forced silence is worse. I've been reaching out to news stations, every channel that should be covering this. You know what I've found? Nothing. No live reports, no emergency briefings, no analysts breaking it down, just automated messages playing on a loop. Due to ongoing national security concerns, all media transmissions have been suspended until further notice. This account is no longer available. They're not just controlling movement, they're controlling information. Every reporter, every journalist who should be questioning this, gone, not missing, erased, no online presence, no archives, no mention that they ever existed. And that means whatever's happening, we aren't meant to understand it. We're only meant to comply. If you're listening to this, you need to pay attention, because right now, the world isn't just being locked down, it's being rewritten. There's something they don't want us to know. And a few people, just a few, are trying to tell us before it's too late. I just got an encrypted message. No name, no traceable source, just a single sentence: they're lying to you. Don't believe the broadcasts. That's it. No context, no details. And before I could respond, the account was gone. Wiped. Like it never existed. And they aren't the only ones. I've had reports of government officials disappearing. Not just from their offices, but from the record. Entire careers erased overnight. People who were in press briefings yesterday don't exist today. A listener just sent in a name: former defense secretary. I checked. Nothing. No articles, no interviews, no history. It's like he was never there. Another source, high-ranking if they're telling the truth, sent me something before they vanished. A warning. They said this didn't start tonight. It started years ago. Plans, simulations, restructuring at the highest levels. They knew exactly how we'd react. They knew how to control the message. The moment the lights went out, it all went into motion. And now there's no one left on the inside to stop it. And then, just minutes after I read the message, another transmission cut through my signal. A different voice this time. No robotic tone, no empty reassurances. Just 5 words, cold and direct. This is your final warning. Then silence. What happens next? This isn't chaos. It isn't improvisation, it's a script. A carefully rehearsed sequence designed to strip away freedom without resistance. Think about it. The blackouts, the sudden lockdowns, the disappearance of officials. This level of control doesn't happen overnight. You don't hijack every major broadcast, erase entire government records, and mobilize a military presence without years of planning. Every step of this has been deliberate, executed with precision, and we followed along, just as they predicted. First, they took the information, shut down the journalists, erased the records. Then they took the movement, locked down the cities, closed the borders, and now they're taking the memory. The past itself is being rewritten. People who questioned too much are gone, and soon no one will even remember they existed. And that's the most terrifying part. Not that they've taken control, but that they were always in control. That everything leading up to tonight, every crisis, every conflict, wasn't a failure of the system, but a step toward this exact moment. What if we were never free to begin with? I've been talking for hours, but I don't think I've really said what needs to be said. Maybe I was trying to convince myself that there was still a way out of this. That this was temporary. But it's not, is it? This isn't a war. This isn't a coup. This isn't a nation collapsing under its own weight. It's something far worse. It's the world becoming what it was always meant to be. There won't be riots. There won't be rebellion. There won't even be fear. Because when control is total, resistance doesn't exist. And if there's no resistance, there's no need for war, just order, just silence. If you're listening, remember what tonight felt like. Because soon even that will be taken from you. And once we forget, they win. Some people are calling this the dawn of a new era. They say order is finally being restored. That this is what we needed. That things will be better now. They're stepping outside, watching the streets clear and breathing sighs of relief. They're telling themselves that this is temporary, that it's for our safety. They trust the broadcasts. They trust the silence. They trust the ones giving the orders. But not everyone feels that way. Not everyone is celebrating. There are others, plenty of them, who aren't stepping outside at all, who aren't turning on their televisions, aren't answering their doors. I've gotten messages from people who have barricaded themselves in their homes, convinced that stepping outside means disappearing. They're hearing the same announcements as everyone else, but to them, the words don't sound like protection. They sound like a warning. A man in New Jersey said he watched his neighbors walk out and never come back. A woman in Texas says her entire apartment complex has gone dark, but she hears movement in the halls at night. No voices, no footsteps, just movement. We're looking at a split down the middle, those who comply without question and those who are still asking why. And right now, one thing is becoming clear. The ones asking questions are the ones who are starting to disappear. It's been almost 24 hours since the first broadcast, since the first orders were given. And now the streets don't belong to us anymore. People who left their homes this morning returned to find soldiers at every intersection, police stationed at every block. No sirens, no arrests, just presence, just control. Some are saying this is a show of force, a reminder that resistance isn't an option. Others believe this is for our own good, that we need protection, that without this, there would be chaos. But protection from what? From whom? The enemy is never named. No terrorist groups, no foreign threats, no explanations, just a vague reassurance that this is necessary, that this is how we keep order. A caller from Los Angeles just told me that every major road out of the city is blocked, that no one is being told where they're allowed to go, just where they can't. A listener from Detroit says that the National Guard is walking through neighborhoods in groups of 6. No interaction, no enforcement, just watching. If this were about security, wouldn't we have a right to know why? Wouldn't there be statements, briefings, plans for what comes next? Instead, we're getting the same message on repeat. Stay calm, remain indoors, obey. People aren't being told to fight, but they're not being given permission to run either. And that means only one thing. This isn't protection. This is containment. There's a phrase I keep hearing tonight, a phrase being repeated by those who have stopped asking questions. This is for the greater good. I've heard it from callers who say they don't mind the checkpoints, that they feel safer with armed patrols outside their homes, that this is how peace is maintained, that they're tired of fear, tired of uncertainty, tired of the world being out of control, that finally someone is doing something about it. They see the curfews, the travel bans, the forced evacuations, and they believe this is a small price to pay for order. They believe the ones enforcing this are the good guys, that anyone who resists must be the bad guys. I got a message from a man who turned his own brother in for violating curfew. Not because he wanted to, but because he was afraid not to. He called the emergency line. He told them where his brother was. He waited by the window as the van pulled up, as men in black uniforms stepped out, as his brother was taken away. And when it was over, he sat back down, turned on the news, and waited for his next instructions. I don't think it was loyalty that made him do it. I think it was something else, something worse. The kind of fear that makes you believe obedience is the only way to survive. And now the question is, how long before everyone else starts believing the same thing? Something is happening to the cities. The panic we expected never came. Not in the way we thought it would. No riots, no protests, just a quiet, creeping dread, a different kind of fear, the kind that doesn't make people fight, it makes them vanish. Supermarkets were cleared out within hours. No restocks, no deliveries, shelves emptied like people were bracing for something worse. But that's not what's strange. What's strange is the people who never came back. I got a message from a listener in Seattle. She says her next-door neighbors left before sunrise. Said they were going to find a safer place. That was 2 days ago. Their car is still in the driveway. Their house untouched. No sign they ever came home. Another caller says his entire apartment floor is empty now. Lights on, doors locked, but the people, gone. And then there's the other reports, the ones I keep seeing over and over again, the ones that make no sense. People leaving their houses and then freezing, standing in the middle of the street, not talking, not moving, just standing there. And when someone tries to talk to them, they just walk away. Like they were never there to begin with. It's not just fear that's spreading. It's something else. Something we don't understand yet. And whatever it is, it's already taking people. Every 10 minutes, it plays. No matter what station, no matter what channel, the same voice, the same message, over and over. Stay calm. Remain indoors. Await further instruction. It doesn't say what's happening. It doesn't say who's in charge. Just those same words, repeating in the same lifeless tone. Not a request, not advice, a command. Some listeners have tried blocking it out, turning off their radios, shutting off their TVs. It doesn't matter. It's playing in the streets now, from speakers no one remembers being installed. It's playing through emergency phone alerts that don't stop, even when the devices are powered down. It's playing from police cars, from military trucks, from nowhere and everywhere at the same time. It tells us to stay calm. But the way it repeats, the way it never stops, it doesn't feel like reassurance. It feels like programming. Like repetition is more important than meaning. And the question I keep asking myself is this: if we were really safe, why would they need to keep reminding us? The streets are empty. The broadcasts play without end. The disappearances keep happening, and no one is asking why. Maybe they're afraid of the answer. We were told this was for our safety, that this was order, that this was salvation. But salvation isn't supposed to feel like this, is it? I don't know how much longer I'll be able to speak. I don't know if there's anyone left to hear me. But if you're listening, if you're still there, then ask yourself the only question that matters. If this is meant to save us, why does it feel like the end? The internet is still up. The power is still on. Everything looks normal. But it isn't. Something is different. Something is off. At first, it's barely noticeable. Web pages take longer to load. Certain links don't work. Search results feel incomplete. But then you start looking closer. You try to find an old news article, something you know existed yesterday, and it's gone, replaced, rewritten, or worse, like it was never there at all. A listener just sent me a message. They were searching for a government report from last year, one they had bookmarked, but the page redirected to an error message. So they checked an archive site, only to find the cached version had been wiped too. No trace of it anywhere. Others are reporting similar things. Entire websites vanishing overnight. Official statements being updated to say something completely different. The deeper you dig, the more you realize that what's missing isn't just random, it's deliberate. This isn't a glitch. This isn't a technical failure. Someone, somewhere, is making decisions about what stays and what disappears. And the question we should all be asking right now isn't just why, but how much has already been erased without us noticing. Something bigger is happening. It's not just old news articles. It's people, their words, their voices, their entire existence gone, as if they were never there. Millions of posts, accounts, and conversations are vanishing without explanation. Not banned, not suspended, just erased. Profiles that existed for years now lead to blank pages. Messages between friends disappear from chat histories. Photos, videos, comments, wiped from every platform like they never existed. A listener told me they were in the middle of a conversation thread when it happened. They were talking about the government broadcasts, about the lockdowns, when suddenly the entire thread vanished. Not just flagged, not just locked, erased. Every comment, every reply, every account involved. And it's not just random people, public figures, journalists, activists, people who had a presence, who had influence. They're disappearing too. One caller tried to look up an independent reporter they'd been following for years. Their Twitter, gone. Their articles, gone. No search results, no archives, no mention of them ever existing. This is something else. This isn't censorship. This isn't about silencing voices. This is about erasing them. This is about making sure no one remembers they ever spoke in the first place. And if that's true, then we have to ask ourselves, who decides what gets erased next? It's not just people. It's history itself. Articles are being rewritten, dates changed, headlines adjusted, archived reports that used to say one thing now say something else. And the strangest part, there's no record of the edits, no corrections, no disclaimers, just quiet alterations. Like the past is being fixed in real time. A listener in Boston was searching for election results from a decade ago. The numbers had changed. Not by much, but enough. A few percentage points here. A shift in wording there. Another listener checked an old war report. Whole sections were missing. The names of leaders, key events, gone without explanation. I tried it myself. I searched for statements made by officials just last year, ones I remembered clearly. But they weren't there. Instead, I found official transcripts saying something different. The words were close, but the meaning had shifted. The context rewritten. If I hadn't known better, I might have believed that's what had always been said. And that's the danger, isn't it? If you can rewrite the past, you control the future. You decide what people remember. You decide what's true. This isn't just about power. This is about replacing reality itself. And if they've come this far already, how much longer until we forget what really happened at all? I had to see it for myself. I kept hearing the same thing, pages disappearing, archives wiped, search results coming up empty. So I tried. I went looking for the truth. It started small. I searched for old reports, government leaks, records that had been public for years. Most of them redirected to error pages. A few still existed, but something was different. Dates were changed, names removed. It was like reading a script where the main character had been erased. The deeper I dug, the more I realized someone was rewriting history in real time. Then I tried something else. I typed in a banned website, one that was still active just days ago. The second I hit enter, my screen flickered. My browser shut down. My entire system rebooted before I could do anything. No warning, no update, just gone. When it came back on, everything looked normal. But my history was wiped. My bookmarks were gone. Even my saved passwords. Erased. It was like I had never searched for anything at all. And then the message popped up. No sender, no traceable source, just a plain text file that read, "Stop looking." Someone was watching. Someone knew the moment I stepped out of line, and they wanted me to know they knew. But it's too late for that, isn't it? Because if they're this desperate to keep us from looking, then we have to ask, what happens when there's nothing left to find? This isn't about censorship. It never was. This isn't about suppressing information. It's about eliminating it completely. We always thought control looked like surveillance, like constant monitoring. We imagined cameras on every corner, listening devices in every room. But what if the real danger was something much simpler? Something quieter? What if control wasn't about watching us, but about making sure we never existed in the first place? Think about it. The missing records, the altered history, the people who once had a voice, now erased. The accounts that were wiped without a trace, as if they were never there. This isn't about silencing opposition. It's about making sure there is no opposition left to silence. And what happens when it's not just people? What happens when they start changing facts? When the wars that were fought, the leaders who ruled, the very foundation of history itself gets rewritten? What if they've already done it and we never even noticed? If everything we know about the past comes from records and those records are gone, then how do we even know what's real anymore? I don't think this is about control. I think this is about something far worse. I think this is about resetting reality itself. If you can hear this, you need to listen. You need to act. Because this isn't just happening to me. It's happening to all of us. They're making sure we forget. They're making sure the truth disappears before we ever get a chance to question it. And once it's gone, it's never coming back. Save what you can. Write it down. Screenshot it. Print it. Store it somewhere safe. Because one day soon you're going to look for something you know existed. And it won't be there. And the only proof you'll have is what you kept for yourself. They're not just changing the world. They're changing the memory of it. And if we let them finish the job, then we were never here at all. It started slowly. First, fewer cars on the road. Then fewer people on the sidewalks. And now? Now the streets are empty. Not just quiet. Empty. I took a drive earlier today. A stretch of road that should have been packed during rush hour was completely deserted. The storefronts were dark, restaurants locked up, no police, no pedestrians, just silence. The kind that presses down on you. The kind that makes you feel like you're the only one left. But here's the strangest part. There was no warning, no announcement, no explanation for why an entire city would suddenly stop. Some of you are seeing the same thing. A listener from Denver says their office closed early, without notice. By the time they left, the streets were already empty. Another caller from Philadelphia says traffic cameras went offline right before the roads cleared. The local news, broadcasting pre-recorded segments, no live updates, no mention of anything unusual. Like nothing's wrong. But something is wrong, isn't it? We've all felt it. That unshakable sense that something just shifted and no one bothered to tell us. And the question I keep asking myself is this: did people leave? Or were they told to? I just got a call from a listener in Chicago. They say they saw something last night. Unmarked trucks, dozens of them, moving through the city in the dead of night. No lights, no sirens, just rolling through empty streets like they had somewhere important to be. And they weren't alone. Another caller from Dallas says they saw the same thing. Large black trucks parked in long stretches near old warehouses. No labels, no military insignia, just sitting there, waiting. And when morning came, gone. No sign they were ever there at all. And then there's this. Someone just sent me a recording. No name, no location, just a distorted voice saying one thing. They're moving something. And whatever it is, it's not supposed to be seen. If this were a routine operation, wouldn't there be a statement, a news briefing, some kind of official explanation? And here's what bothers me the most. These trucks aren't being stopped. No police interference, no roadblocks. It's like they have clearance to go anywhere, unseen. Like someone, somewhere, made sure no one would ask questions. What's inside them? Where are they going? And why now, of all times? I'm not the only one talking about this, or at least I wasn't. There were others, independent broadcasters like me, people who weren't waiting for the news to catch up, people who saw what was happening and started asking the right questions. And one by one, they're going dark. I was listening to a show last night, one of the few still running live. The host was mid-sentence talking about how traffic cameras had been disabled, then static, no warning, no sign-off, just gone. And it's not just him. I've checked station after station, feed after feed. Shows that were running fine yesterday aren't broadcasting today. Some of their archives are missing too. No past episodes, no saved recordings, just silence, like they never existed in the first place. And then there's this. I tried reaching out to a few of them, the ones I trusted. No response. Messages undelivered. Numbers disconnected. If this were just a technical failure, wouldn't there be a statement? A simple "we're experiencing issues" message? Instead, there's nothing. Just vanished voices wiped clean, like they were never here. If you've been listening for long enough, you know what this means. This isn't an accident. This isn't a coincidence. It's a pattern. And if it keeps going like this, I might be next. I was scanning through frequencies earlier tonight looking for any signs of a real emergency broadcast. I didn't find one. But I did find something else. Something that shouldn't be there. At first it just sounded like static, like dead air. But then, faintly, underneath the noise, numbers. A slow, deliberate sequence, repeated over and over again. 4, 6, 9, 0. Meet at frequency 96.7. Repeat 4, 6, 9, 0. Meet at frequency 96.7. I listened for almost an hour. The numbers never changed. The voice never wavered. Just the same monotonous pattern, over and over. And here's the thing, this isn't a normal broadcast. It's not coming from a known station. It's not an emergency alert. It's something else. And I'm not the only one hearing it. A listener from Oregon picked it up on their shortwave radio. Someone in Florida says it's been looping for days. And in New York, one caller told me they found something strange when they checked that frequency. Voices, murmurs, something just beneath the static. Like people talking, but not wanting to be heard. And then there's the strangest part. Those numbers, 4, 6, 9, 0, they mean nothing on their own. But what if they aren't numbers? What if they're coordinates? What if they're instructions? What if someone somewhere is trying to tell us where to go? And more importantly, why? I just intercepted a transmission, not a normal one, not a government-issued one. Something else, something that wasn't meant to reach us. It started with static, the kind that makes you lean in closer, the kind that makes you feel like you were about to hear something you weren't supposed to. And then, it's not what they say. It's worse. And that was it. Cut off. Gone. Like someone or something shut it down before the warning could finish. I tried to trace the signal. I couldn't. It didn't come from a registered station. It didn't come from any known source. It just appeared. And then nothing. No repeat transmission, no follow-up message, just silence. And then, a minute later, my feed cut out, just for a second. My whole system flickered, reset, came back like nothing happened. But that's not normal, is it? That doesn't just happen. Someone is trying to warn us, but someone else is making sure we don't hear it. And if that's true, then the real question is, what were they about to say before they were stopped? I keep thinking about what we've seen tonight. The empty streets, the unmarked trucks, the missing voices, the coded frequencies, the warnings that never finish. I keep thinking about that phrase we've all been hearing, the one in every official broadcast, the one they keep repeating over and over. Remain indoors. Await further instruction. But now I'm wondering, why? Why do they want us inside? Why do they want us waiting? Are we being protected? Or are we being prepared? Prepared for what? And who gets to decide? I don't know how many of you are still listening. I don't know how many of you are still out there, but if you are, if you can hear this, then maybe I'm not alone. I've been broadcasting for hours, maybe longer. I've lost track. The clocks don't mean anything anymore. The power flickered once or twice, but I'm still here. My signal is still live. And as far as I can tell, I might be the only one left. I've scanned every station, every frequency. I've searched for something, news updates, emergency briefings, police reports, but it's just static, just empty air. Every voice I once counted on to help make sense of this, gone. And it's not just the news stations, the talk shows, the weather reports, the music channels. They're all silent. Nothing left but dead air and the hum of a signal waiting for someone to speak into it. And that someone right now is me. But for how much longer? Maybe you're in your car, sitting in the dark, scanning through stations just like I did. Maybe you're at home, staring at a screen that won't turn back on. Maybe you're standing outside, looking at a world that suddenly feels too big, too empty. But if you're hearing this, then you and I, we're still here. For now. And I need to know who else is out there. There's something wrong. And I don't just mean the empty streets, the missing people, the questions no one's answering. I mean the silence. The government broadcasts, those cold robotic messages that played on repeat, they've stopped. Before tonight, they were everywhere. Television screens, radio waves, those strange emergency alerts that buzzed through every phone, every speaker. Always the same message. Remain indoors. Await further instruction. Over and over. No emotion. No explanation. Just those words. But now, nothing. No automated messages, no commands, no updates. It's like whoever was running them left. And that doesn't make sense, does it? If this were a real emergency, if there were still someone in charge, wouldn't they keep us informed? Wouldn't they need to keep speaking to us? But they're not. They're gone. The ones who told us to stay inside. The ones who told us to trust them. The ones who promised they had control. They aren't talking anymore. And I don't know what's worse. The orders. Or the fact that now no one is giving them at all. What does that mean? Did they lose control? Did something happen to them? Or was this always part of the plan? I asked if anyone was still out there, and now the calls are coming in. But something isn't right. At first, they sounded normal. People desperate for answers, for reassurance, for someone to tell them they weren't alone. A woman from Ohio, whispering that she hadn't seen another person in 2 days. A man from Arizona saying he heard a strange noise outside his house, but when he looked, nothing was there. But then came the other calls. Voices that didn't sound quite human. Words that lagged, stuttered, repeated themselves in ways that felt wrong. One caller introduced himself 3 times, like he'd forgotten he already said his name. Another asked for help, but his voice was too perfect, too clear, like a recording, like something was trying to sound real, but didn't quite understand how. And then there were the ones that just cut out. A woman sobbing, telling me she wasn't alone in her house. Before her line went dead mid-sentence, a child's voice whispering, "Don't let them hear you," before the static swallowed them whole. And the worst part? Some of these calls weren't coming from numbers. No caller ID, no location, just voices pushing through the static, reaching for anyone who would listen. So I'm asking again, who's still out there? And more importantly, who am I talking to? I looked outside a few minutes ago. I don't know what I was expecting to see. People, maybe. Signs of life. But there was nothing. The streets are still empty. The world is still silent. Except for them. Helicopters, black, unmarked, hovering above the city like they're waiting for something, or watching for something, for someone. They don't move fast, they don't patrol in formation. They just hover. No searchlights, no loudspeakers, no emergency signals, just drifting above buildings, pausing over intersections, circling areas where no one should be left. And that's what I don't understand. If the world is shutting down, if the broadcasts have stopped, if the streets are empty, who are they still watching? What are they looking for? A listener just sent me a message. They say these helicopters aren't just in the cities. They're over the highways, the fields, the small towns that shouldn't have anything left to monitor. No movement, no people, and yet they remain. And then there's this. I've been hearing a faint vibration, like a hum, just beneath the static of my signal. At first I thought it was interference, but I know it's coming from them. From up there. Are they listening? Are they waiting? And if so, for what? Can't do this alone anymore. I need to know if there's someone out there, someone real. Not the strange voices, not the broken signals. Someone human. So here it is, my location. If you're still out there, if you're still listening, I'm at... Transmission briefly distorts, then clears. 3 miles east of downtown. An old radio station, just off the highway. You'll see the tower, if anyone is left to see it. This might be a mistake. Maybe I just painted a target on my back. Maybe I just told the wrong people exactly where to find me. But if I don't do this, if I keep hiding behind this microphone, then what's the point? What's the point of speaking if no one answers? I'm done waiting. I'm done whispering into dead air. I need to know, once and for all. Am I alone? I just heard something. I don't know if I imagined it. I don't want to believe I heard it. But I did. A knock. A single deliberate knock at the station door. Not pounding, not frantic, just waiting. I haven't heard another person in hours. I haven't seen another soul outside. And yet, someone or something is here. I should answer it, shouldn't I? But my hands won't move. My breath won't steady because something in my gut is telling me whatever is on the other side of that door is not what I want it to be. If you're still listening, that means you choose to listen. And maybe that's the most important thing of all. Tonight we asked a question. Are we the last ones left? But maybe there's an even bigger question to consider. What if this was always meant to happen? What if the silence, the disappearances, the rewritten past, what if this isn't the end? What if this is just the beginning of something else? And if it is, what would you do? Would you hide, waiting for answers that may never come? Would you search for others, risking whatever is out there in the unknown? Or would you simply accept it, the world as it's been handed to you? without questioning why. We're all given choices. Some see fear and freeze, others step forward into the dark, looking for what's hidden just beyond the edge of understanding. So tell me, what kind of person are you? Leave a comment below. Tell me, if this were real, if the world fell silent tomorrow, and all you had left was the sound of a single voice over the airwaves, what would you do? And if you want to hear more broadcasts like this, if you want to keep searching for the answers they don't want us to find, subscribe. Because every time you tune in, you prove one thing: we are not alone. Share this with someone you trust, someone who needs to hear it. Because if they ever cut the signal for good, all we'll have left is each other. This is your channel name, signing off. For now, the static hums, lingering for a moment longer than it should. And then, silence.